Hello, everyone. So I'm back after a while, actually. I think sometimes, like with everything that's going on, and then doing the video, this is actually extremely emotionally draining. So, and then having a life, of course. But, anyways, so I'm back, and I'll probably be trying to put more videos out in quicker amounts of times. Probably like at least once, one a weekend, maybe a little bit more. But this video is actually going to be a little bit different than my usual videos. It's not going to be about anything about weave or anything trivial. I think we have a lot going on in our communities to where focusing on trivial issues is counterproductive. It's a waste of time. It doesn't get anything done. So I'm going to put this out there also. If you come on to my video speculating, spewing stupidity, ignorance, and self-hate, what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete your comment and then I'm going to block you. Like, that's the only thing I'm going to do. I'm not going to entertain foolishness anymore. I'm not going to entertain stupidity. I'm not going to entertain the coons that want to come on the video and talk about weave and stupidity despite the fact that black people are dying on a daily basis. We are literally getting killed in droves and people want to focus on weave. So I'm not doing that anymore. If you guys put any comments on my video that has anything to do with some foolishness and some coonery, some weave, some stupidity, I'm not going to read all of it. I'm going to skim over it. If I get the general idea that it's some foolery, I'm not going to respond to you. I'm going to delete your comment, and then I'm going to block you. So that's what I'm going to do. So if you have some comments and you have some intellectual dialogue, or if you want to put some solutions down there, or if you can actually challenge me, feel free to do so. I'm not always right about everything, and I am open to other people's opinions, but I'm just no longer open to foolishness. Like, I'm really not going to entertain it. I have better things to do at my time. So, with that said, I'm going to talk about two main things. Of course, we all know with the recent case of Sandra Bland, there's a lot of things I don't like about that, as a lot of people don't. And then also the need for just a black community to trace their roots. I think a lot of people are under the impression that slavery was thousands of years ago, but that wasn't the case. I recently actually traced my ancestry, and a lot of my ancestors actually were slaves. They actually were on a plantation, and the plantation still does exist today. I'm sure some of the descendants of these slave owners still exist today. There's a number of those slaves that I was actually related to directly. And a lot of people will actually probably find that if they trace their roots. We had our ancestry, our culture, our knowledge of ourselves, our spirituality. We've had everything ripped and taken away from us. And so the only way that we're going to find it is if we go search for it. It's easy to mold someone into who you want them to be if they don't know who they are or where they came from. And that is the general idea and the theme that's going on in the black community. Most of these actions that as a community we tend to see each other engaging in is a stereotype and an idea that was put out by white supremacy. Black people, even down to the hating the weave or associating it with a desire to be more Eurocentric, none of that came from black people. That all came from white people, because if you actually do the research, you will see that Egyptians actually started the weave and the wig thing. So that actually goes back to our culture. And please don't come on here and be stupid enough to say Egyptian is not African. I wish I would get a comment that says that. That is one that I actually might entertain enough to cuss you out for being an idiot, basically. But after I cuss you out, I'm going to block you. So either way, come at me with some stupidity and you will get blocked. So again, in the Black community, people really need to know their roots. I think is very essential. And right now I'm on this journey of actually tracing my roots. You basically don't have to do what you want to do. You could sit here and still continue to be oblivious. You can, still sit under the thumb of white superiority, and you can let them define you, and you can play into whatever stereotypes you want to play into. But me, I'm going to find out my ancestry, because I'm going to know where I'm from. I'm going to know where I'm going. There's multiple ways that you can actually trace your ancestry. Number one, you can get affordable DNA test done. And what will happen is that they will mail you a DNA kit. You will swab your mouth, mail it back to the lab, and they will give you a detailed report of your lineage. That's actually what I did, and it was very informative. And the interesting thing is, when I actually traced my genealogy, I found some information that kind of correlated and made my DNA test make sense to me. And so, I'm going to keep doing it, and I'm going to keep looking and searching until I find out all of my roots, because that is something that's important to me, and I think it should be important to every Black person. I remember when I was in school, and we were learning about slavery, and I hated it. I hated learning about slavery, because all of it was pushing inferiority. When you get older, of course you have the option of going out and finding out that a lot of this stuff is untrue. But when you're in school, and it always starts at school, you kind of get conditioned to learn that as a Black person you are inferior. But anyways, I would hate learning about slavery to the point that I would have to tell myself, don't hate white people specifically because they're white. Sometimes I still have to do that. I work at a company that is predominantly white. Seattle is predominantly, well, it's not predominantly, well, there's a lot of white people. There's probably predominantly Asian, but by numbers it's supposed to be predominantly white. So anyways, in any given situation in Seattle, you may find yourself being one of the only Black people. At the company that I worked for currently, that's partially the case. And of course, with everything that's going on, sometimes honestly I have to tell myself when I go to work, do not hate your coworkers simply because they're white. It is very hard seeing everything in the news, seeing all the killings, seeing all the Black people that justify it, seeing the sick patheticness of people at Dylan Roof's hearing, giving forgiveness to a man who never asked for it, for people who continue to pray to and serve a God that they already know is historically not theirs. So let's actually unwrap that one a little bit. So a lot of Black people, including myself, was actually brought up Baptist Christians. Whether you're Catholic or Protestant, you still have that same Christian belief. My thing is this. If we already know, and most Black people currently do already know, that white people have basically lied to you about everything, your history, they've told you that you guys were always slaves. We know none of this is true. We know that everything that they've told us, they've lied. So my question is, why would you think that they're going to preserve the one thing that could give them the most control over you, which is your spirituality? Now, I'm not saying you have to abandon your belief that God exists, because of course I think, even the most remedial person can kind of get a sense that obviously God exists. I mean, to me, he does. For an atheist, that they have a different belief system. They don't believe that there's any God at all, and that's fine. My thing is that why wouldn't you look into it? Why wouldn't you even look into or entertain that you're probably being lied to about your God as well? And I noticed that a lot of Black people, if you even mention them looking into the concept that Black people and white people serve two different gods, if you ask me, I think based off the evidence that their God is probably evil. But a lot of them won't even entertain looking into it. And to me, it's like you just need to authenticate it. It's kind of the equivalent of you having a gut instinct that your man is cheating. You find out that he's lied to you about every single thing, how your relationship was formed. Everything about him is a lie at this point. You find that out but you do nothing about it. You stay in the relationship, you go along with it, and you pretend that nothing is wrong. To me, that is the equivalent of what I keep seeing with the foolishness of the praying and enduring and forgiving people who, number one, didn't ask for forgiveness, and number two, who shows that they have no regard for your people at all. You know, basically, as far as I'm concerned, as a black person, we are all living on borrowed time. We are all one traffic stop away from being the next hashtag, period. And so my thing is, if you want to continue to be insane, because the very definition of insanity is a person who continues to do the same thing over and expect different results. If you want to be insane, feel free to be insane. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to look into it, because now that I know I was lied to about anything, why would I trust the source of Christianity? Again, you don't have to abandon your beliefs. You could do whatever you want to do. My thing is I'm going to do what feels good for me. And that's the good thing about me being me, is I really couldn't care less about what anyone else does. If you want to sit there and stay brainwashed and continue to be a mental and a spiritual slave, do that. I'm not going to. And so that's really just how I feel about the situation. I think that Christianity was introduced to black people simply to put them not only in physical slavery, but in spiritual and mental bondage. And it's still working, because I keep seeing this pathetic stupidity of forgiving and enduring and praying, and it's not working. At the end of the day, we're still getting killed on a daily basis. And then you have Fox News that want to insult everybody's intelligence. They want to insult even the most remedial, retarded person's intelligence by telling us that these attacks aren't on black people, they're attacks on Christianity. That's just some extreme stupidity. It irritates me, because if it's one thing that I don't like, is when someone wants to insult your intelligence. And it's like, so are we too stupid to know that this, to realize that when this dude went in there and said, I have to kill you because you're black, that he didn't mean to kill them because they're black? But then you have all the family members who haven't even had time to grieve the loss of their family members going into this dude's trial hearing and giving him forgiveness. And meanwhile, he's looking at them like they're stupid, because he's like, well, they want to forgive me. I'm not sorry, nor have I asked to be forgiven. And so that's what I don't get. But then you have these people to where they want to sit there and hide behind this Bible that's not even in it's not even in its original context. It was not written by God. The same people who put that Bible together is the same people that will sit there and scientifically confirm that it's authentic. And so to me, all of it, as far as I'm concerned, is shady. And so therefore, I'm not dealing with it. If it's the same God that white people serve, it is not my God. Again, you could do whatever you want to do. So this is an attack on anybody's religion. Do what you want to do. I won't have anything to do with it. So that's another one of my problems. It's like the black community has become so passive and stupid and pathetic and forgiving to everyone but their own culture, because you can go out and smash somebody out in the street because they looked at you wrong, or you can have them uploading these stupid videos with these girls beating the life out of another girl while a crowd of people stand around. You guys can do that, but the minute a cop attacks someone, or the minute a person goes and shoot up a church full of black people, then you want to sit there and you want to forgive them, and you want to complain about weave, and you want to complain about the most trivial, stupid stuff. But at the same time, you don't want to attack this white supremacy that still to this day has you in bondage. I don't get it, but that's how some people are. So if you want to stay in that stupid slave mindset, then do it. But I won't be doing it. Another thing, why are we waiting as black people until someone dies after being racially profiled before we say something? You know, I was just racial profiled the other day. I had a cop do basically the same thing to me that the cop did to Sandra Bland. Not in terms of the behavior or talking to her like that, but in terms of the reason why the cop said that he pulled her over. I had nearly the exact same thing happen to me, except that this was by a white female. And she followed me for miles before she even pulled me over. She rode alongside my car. She looked into my window, and then she decided to pull me over. So this to me is very clearly racial profiling. It happens in Seattle a lot. It is a problem to the point that they're getting an investigation by the Justice Department. So I didn't sit there and argue with this stupid lady, although I wanted to cuss her out because it was like 6:50 in the morning. I'm going to work. I have to be there at 7. Basically, she's wasting my time giving me a stupid reason for why she pulled me over. Like, I'm too stupid to know that she was actually following me since I got on the freeway. But whatever. I didn't call her out. I let her say what she wanted to say. I promise you, no more than 2 hours later, a complaint was filed against her. Did I get a response? Yes, I did. I got a response from her lieutenant. Now, my point is not to say that because I complained that this lady is going to lose her job or anything. What I'm saying is that since we all know that black people across the country are being profiled at an alarming rate, why are we waiting until we see someone in the news being killed? Why aren't we making complaints? That's what black people need to do. Every time you get pulled over by a cop for some stupid bullshit reason, you need to go file a complaint against that person. And then if we are saturating these departments with complaints, and then they're going through investigation processes, it's going to make more of an impact than when we see a situation like Sandra Bland, or when we see a situation like Freddie Gray, and then we speak out about it. We should be speaking out about it already, because if there's one thing that's going to do, if the complaints doesn't matter, the fact that a lot of black people are on the same page and they're all sending in complaints, that's going to matter, because you better believe the number one fear that white people have is black unity. And that's why they spend so much time getting us to attack each other over frivolous stuff, to pay attention to their propaganda, which is at the end of the day a fantasy, and not even pay attention to the reality of what the situation is. Because even when you see these stupid looking white chicks that want to go on YouTube and talk about black people, black men choosing them, or when you want to look at the TV and you see them highlighting black men with black women, or when you see in these sitcoms and television shows how they're now trying to promote black women with white men, I'm going to tell you what that's about. That's about what they would like to happen. That's not about what a reality. That's about what they want to happen. So you have to ask yourself, if this isn't even representing reality, then why are they putting it out there? And that's because they have to divide black people. They don't want black people in America uniting. They don't want black people in America uniting with black people in Africa. They just don't want black unity. And they've been successful in dividing us. And that's why you have so many black men and black women too, but I really do think it's a higher population of black men. They want to coon out and they want to sit here and they want to defend the racism and stupidity. I don't have time for it. It's just extremely, it's ridiculous. And what is going to subsequently lead to is our demise, because you guys want to sit here and think that it's about them promoting equal love and them accepting you. No, that's not what it's about. It's about them exterminating you and washing out your gene pool. Because at the end of the day, and so anyone can answer this question for me, if black men and black women aren't procreating, what ends up happening to the black race? Can someone tell me how the black race is going to survive if black men and black women are so divided that they don't want to even talk to each other, let alone procreate with each other? So you can say this is a conspiracy theory. This isn't about a conspiracy theory. This is about a reality. And if you think that it's not a reality, then you're so far gone that you're a lost cause at this point. So those aren't even the people that I'm talking about. The people that I'm talking to are the people that's going to get it. The people that are able to see reality. I'm not talking about the people who are drowning in a Willie Lynch mentality. I'm talking about the people that are actually want to open their eyes and see what's going on. We really do need more unity. Somebody on one of my comments asked me, didn't I used to make videos attacking black men? Number one, I'm not going to ever attack black men. There's a lot of beefs that I have with black men, but I'm never going to come on here and attack them. Because at the end of the day, my loyalty is always going to go to black people more so than anybody. If you look at the differences between other racial groups when they experience racism or profiling or anything like that. Let's take into example the Donald Sterling situation. What did the Hispanic community do? The Hispanic community didn't care one thing about a piece of weave. They didn't care one thing about a pair of Jordans. The bottom line is they shut Donald Trump down. They didn't care about none of that. So the bottom line is, why are we as a group and a community, why are we so pathetic and weak and cooned out and divided that you can have so many different people disrespect our culture to the most extreme degree, and we still want to coon out on YouTube? We still want to talk bad about people. We want to make videos about fighting. We want to sit there and perpetuate fantasies and propaganda, because the majority of what y'all are even saying on YouTube, like black men don't like black women or black women don't like black men, all you are doing is perpetuating white superiority. That is all that you were doing. And you know what, at the end of the day, for the coons that think they want to sit there and make a video and think that's going to get them cookies or brownie points or whatever you think you'll get from a white person, that's not how it works. You are the exact same to them as the other black people. The only difference is you are far more weak-minded because they can use you. So that's what y'all should be asking these people when they want to come on here and make these videos. Who exactly are you doing it for? That's my question, because if you think it's gonna gain you brownie points with the white people, it's not. It's really not. They're going to use you to get their point across, but at the end of the day, when it comes down to it, you're nothing but a coon, and they do realize that they will use you to get their agenda across, but that's the only thing that's going to happen. You're never going to be one of them. You're not going to be on their team. Period. It doesn't even matter. Bill Cosby was on that coonery too. He was riding along on the coon train, and he thought white people loved him. He threw black people under the bus hundreds of times, and then now what? Now he's being destroyed by the very white organization and white structure that he tried to throw his own community under the bus for. And then what did he say? Oh, I want the black community to not judge me and to not be biased. Okay, but you didn't have a problem. You mercilessly attacked black people. You sure did. You said everything that you needed to do that was bad about the black community. You told them it's their fault. They're in a position that they're in. You told them all they need to do is pull up their pants, as if that actually matters. But he did everything to throw the black community under the bus. And now when he's going through what he's going through, guess who he's reaching out to for support? The black community, because white people don't care no more. White people don't want to have nothing to do with them. As far as they're concerned, he's an old washed up coon, period. And that's all you're going to be at the end of the day. So if you think that you can go out for the men and have sex with as many white women as you want to, or if you're a black woman, you can suck as much white dick as you want to, at the end of the day, it does not matter. Period. Because you're still a black person. You're still inferior to them. They still don't want you here. Period. That's really what it is. How many different ways in the media do they have to show you this? Like, I don't get that. Like, all evidence is pointing to the fact that they don't want you alive. They don't want you here. It doesn't matter whether you have weave in your hair, whether you have natural hair. None of that matters. At the end of the day, as long as you have brown skin, it doesn't matter if your skin is one shade lighter than the next person, you're all black. They have the one drop rule. So even the people, if they have one drop of black blood in them, as far as they concerned, you can get it just as well as the rest of the black people. It doesn't matter if you're an infant, a toddler, a teenager, an old person. You can all get it just the same. So the bottom line is, right now, what you should be doing is stop worrying about stupid weave. Don't stand in line for 10 years to buy Jordans. The stupidity, it just runs deep. Why are you not letting it go? Because while you want to be focused on trivial stuff, your people is getting killed away. The only difference between you and the people that are getting killed is that it was them, not you. And so let me just break that down for the people who really just don't get it. Meaning, the only difference is that you were there at that time. That person was there at that time and you weren't. Because if you were there, you could have got it just as well as that other person. So don't think that you're special. The people that you really need to be joining with, being loyal to, is your own people. Because at the end of the day, that's really when it all boils down, when wherever all this killing of the black people, when whatever that boils down to, the only people that you're gonna have is your people. And you can act stupid if you want to, you can keep praying, you can keep forgiving, you can keep doing whatever you want to. None of it is gonna matter. It's really not at the end of the day. And that's the thing that really, that's really one of the things that get me too. I just lost my train of thought. I was on a roll. Don't you hate it when that happened? Like, I hate it. Because I was on a roll. And now I can't remember what I was going to say. And it was good too. I was really about to bring it home. Anyway. Yeah, that's how I feel about it though. But really, this stuff that's going on, it grieves me to my soul. Like, sometimes I don't even have the energy to go over this stuff. It bothers me to a great degree. To keep seeing people, black people, continuously being victimized, continuously being oppressed, continuously being killed, and to see it being justified, to see that at the end of the day, our lives really mean absolutely nothing. And that's why I say this isn't a physical battle, it is spiritual, because it doesn't make sense. And that's the thing that bothers me. I feel like a lot of people don't use critical thinking skills. Because if they use critical thinking skills, you would think, and this is the thing that gets me, how does it make sense that two groups of people have the same God, but yet one of those groups of people is interpreting that message from the same God as this other group of people are inferior to you. You should hate these people. You can kill these people. You can slave these people. You can torture them. You can rape them. You can do whatever you want to them, because at the end of the day, they're not even human. And you know what's the interesting thing about the not even human thing? They treat animals better than they'll treat black people. So it really wouldn't matter if you were human, animal, or whatever. You're still as far, and you're still getting it. And so to me, that's what doesn't make any sense. But then you'll have people, black people, going out and actually serving the same God. They will argue you down. They will not do anything. They will not even entertain you. And the interesting thing is, if you look in history, black people have done everything you can think of to get out of bondage. We've tried economic boycotts, we've tried warring, we've tried rioting, we've tried rallying, we've tried all that. You know what the only thing we haven't tried though? Is to stop serving the same God as the people who oppressed you. You cannot get from under the hand of oppression while you're serving your oppressor's God. You can't do that. Like, that doesn't even make sense to me. It doesn't make sense to me how people do that. And then it's like I had a debate with an African guy, and he's claiming, oh, this is my God, and I just know it was my God. You know, I asked him, I said, if that's your God and you knew internally within your spirit that was your God, why is it that you hadn't even heard of him until white people colonized your country and told you about him? And he couldn't answer that for me. And so to me, that's a problem, because I know internally within my spirit, I can tell that God exists. I can tell that God exists, and I know he exists. he or she or whoever. However, I also know in that same spirit that it is not the same God that white people serve. It is a good God, it is a just God, and it's a God that does not think it's okay or condone the slavery, the rape, the murder, the genocide, and all the atrocious actions that white people have inflicted on black people, all under the name of Christianity. I can't do it. And it's like, if you want to still do it, if you want to say that doesn't matter, that's fine. Do you. Do what you feel is best for you. But for me, I'm not going to go that route. Because again, it grieves my soul. It's conflicting. I feel like I've been lied to about everything. It's just heavy. I don't know how people can be so focused on trivial matters when we have all this going on in our community. So, leave a comment. Give me your perspective. Really, like, you know, I go on the videos and I look at the comments, and I think a lot of people have a lot of ignorance, but I do appreciate the thought-provoking discussions and dialogue that people have on there, because at the end of the day, we do need to get a certain message out. We do need to discuss these things, you know, and I might tell people that I'm going to delete your comment if you come at me with some stupidity, which I am. Let's not get that twisted. I'm still going to do that. But I do encourage people to give their input and their perspective. If you can do it in an intellectual and respectful way, then I will keep it on there and I won't delete you or block you. But if you're just going to come at me with stupidity, you're going to get blocked. That's what's going to happen. So if you guys have any suggestions on what you want to hear or what you think could change, I mean, my channel's fairly new. I'm still trying to build it. I really don't even pay that much attention to it. I probably should give it more attention, and I think I probably get more out of it, but sometimes it's just draining. I work a full-time job. I have life to attend to. So sometimes I don't have time to sit on here and record a video. And quite frankly, sometimes I don't want to, because it's actually emotionally draining to keep having to think about all this stuff that's going on and rehashing it. But there is a certain message that I want to get out. And I'm not going to stop regardless to what people say. So you can say whatever you want to. You could say whatever you want about my hair, what I choose to put in it. You could say whatever you want about my makeup. At the end of the day, I'm so content in me. You know, I've been through so much to where none of it matters. You know, your little petty insults are not going to bother me when I've been through stuff that I guarantee you would not survive. So don't try to sit here and throw some insults and think that it's going to matter to somebody when it's not. Again, what I'm going to do is I'm going to block you when you do that, because I just don't have time for the stupidity. And then the fact that most of these people don't even have a picture, that really annoys me. So, but again, you know, like the video if you like it. If you don't have to. Comment if you can do it in an intellectual and respectful way. Subscribe if you like the topics, if you're feeling what I'm trying to do, if you support it. Subscribe, share it with people. At the end of the day, if I can just get a message out that's going to cause people to think, that's going to provoke some kind of dialogue and some solution, then I'm going to do that. But I am going to give more attention to this. I'm going to give more attention to it, because the thing is I thought about this whole concept, and when I decided to do the videos, I really wanted to dedicate a lot of time to it. But when you have other things happening and you have a life, and then my birthday just passed too, so that's another thing. But yeah, I'm gonna dedicate more time to it. And if you guys have some suggestions on what you want to hear, or what you think I should discuss or talk about, or if you have something, I don't even mind researching it. Like if you guys want some tips on how to do your ancestry, or where you can get your DNA test done for a low cost, don't hesitate to tell me. If you guys want some information on anything, you know, I'm not above going out and researching it and finding it out, especially if it has to do with some kind of black empowerment that's going to try to stimulate some unity in the black community, which is what I'm going to try. Actually, I'm thinking about joining. I'm going to look into the one of our chapters of the NAACP and see what's going to go on with that. I don't know how much I take them seriously though. But anyway, yeah, like, comment, and subscribe. Challenge me with some intellect and some facts and not speculation. Share the video if you like it, and I'll see you guys in the next video, which I don't know what I'm going to do, what I'm going to talk about yet, but I'm sure I'll find out something within the next week. I'm sure another person will be dead, unfortunately. I'm sure another black person will be dead in the news, and we'll be seeing the same choice coon up there defending it. So as of lately, there's haven't been a loss of topics to talk about. So yeah, I hope you guys have a good evening. I'm getting off. I'm gonna go get something to eat. But like, comment, and subscribe, and share.